Hey guys, I am back here with another video. Um, I've actually recorded a couple of other videos since I posted my last one, but I'm going to save those for a future date to post. And the reason for that is I know I've talked a little bit about a brain fog in some of my earlier videos, and I really wasn't planning on going into greater depth, greater depth with it at this present time. But you know what I realize is that to really understand, how and why these other situations might affect me, might affect other people, you have to really understand the underlying issues fully. And for me, brain fog, um, it's something that I really need to go into further depth with and explain. And again, some of you may be able to relate, some of you may not, because maybe it's just social anxiety for you. And I hope it is just social anxiety. I hope you're not experiencing some of the things I'm going to be talking about. But this is just something that, for me, it's as bad, if not worse, than social anxiety at times. And I know, again, I've talked about it in the past, but I wanted to sort of go into a little bit greater detail about, why, for me at least, it's so debilitating and frustrating to deal with. And, so again, just to refresh, to boil down brain fog into the simplest of terms, brain fog is really just your brain not working correctly. What does your brain control? It controls your thoughts, your ability to be efficient, to do work, things like that. When you have brain fog, you can't think well, you'll mess up at work, you'll make mistakes, all that kind of stuff. They also call it cognitive dysfunction, but I like brain fog. I guess it's easier to for people to understand. And I think I've also mentioned my troubles at CBS when I used to work there. I think I also mentioned it in one of the videos I've already recorded, but I just want to go into greater detail about why, for me, it was such a debilitating experience when I did have these episodes of brain fog. And the thing about brain fog is there's really no episodes to speak of. It's not like when people have an anxiety attack, when you have a panic attack. Now, I don't suffer from those, but I know it's sort of, you have clear indicators like, okay, I'm having a panic attack, I'm having an anxiety attack. There's a start and there's a finish line. The brain fog doesn't have those indicators. Some days you're going to have bad, some days not so bad, other days somewhere in between. It's sort of basically how your brain is functioning on any given day. But I'm going to sort of go with the polar opposites of my experiences at CBS, because that's really the best way of illustrating how and why the brain fog is so difficult to deal with. Let's start with the positive first. Yay, positive. There were certain days when I was working at CBS, and again, I want to sort of preface this by saying, let's say this is months since I've already been started working at CBS, because obviously when you're working at somewhere for the first couple of days, first couple of weeks, you're going to make mistakes because you're learning. There are going to be certain difficulties and challenges you face just because you're learning the job and you're not used to the people, you're not used to the customers, your bosses, just the way things are done. So it may take a while to get through that adjustment period. So right now, let's assume I've been there for a couple of months. I know what I'm doing. Again, I used to work at CBS as a photo technician. It's not an especially difficult job. Okay? So on the good days, I could do my job normally. And when I say good days, I don't mean like for normal people, good days like when they feel exceptionally well and they're just so full of energy and life, and it's almost like you're on some kind of high. For me, just the good days is like I can be normal. I'm able to do my job efficiently. I'm able to talk to customers with some confidence. Again, I'm not perfect, but I feel good about myself. I'm able to do my job well. I'm able to think well. I'm able to multitask easily. When the photo machine breaks down, because it would constantly break down, it was such a pain to deal with that thing, but I'd be able to fix it. Okay. Now on the bad days, the really bad days. I can't even say really bad days, because this was sort of the majority of the days when I used to work at CBS. Dealing with the brain fog. All those things I could do on those days when I felt okay, which again were few and far between, can't do any of them. Talking to customers, fumbling my words. You know, trying to multitask, impossible. Working efficiently and performing my job well, no. I'd make constant mistakes. I would, if the photo machine breaks down, I didn't know what to do. All things that on those good days I could do without even thinking, without even trying. Just because it's natural, because I've done the job for several months already, I can't do on these days. It's like I look like a rookie who's just training, learning how to do photo. And it's such a night and day experience that, like, if you saw me working there on these 2 different days, you'd be like, that's not the same person. Like, you know, he was so good one day and he was a complete mess the second day. And yet people may not realize it. That's what my therapist keeps trying to stress to me, is that, oh, you know, other people may not notice, it's all in your head, it's all a matter of perspective. No. It's fact. And again, I'm just using CVS as an example, but the same thing has happened, you know, hanging out with friends, at school, during exams. I'm just sort of narrowing it down to this one specific area because it's really the clearest way to sort of compare these 2 polar opposites. And again, it's not like the circumstances would change on those days. It wasn't like there was a trigger. I could wake up the same time both days with the same amount of sleep. I could eat the same foods. I could be in the exact same mood, and I will have 2 completely different experiences. And I really hate when people try to make everything seem like a matter of perspective. It's the same thing with social anxiety. Oh, you know, someone might say to you, like a therapist or a friend, you just need to be more socially active. You know, go out there and try new things. Be outgoing. Even if it's hard, you know, you'll get through it and things will get better. Yeah, maybe for some people it will. For others it won't. Because it's simply fact that the disease is debilitating for some people, just like this brain fog. It's fact. How I was able to perform on one day and how I was able to perform on the other days. And this is over a long period of time. This is over the course of years. Night and day, it's real. It's not in my head. It's not a matter of perspective. I'm not being too hard on myself. It wasn't like, again, I went to work so anxious or angry or emotional that led to me sort of, okay, like I was already starting off on the wrong foot. No. It's just fact that had the brain fog, it was debilitating. I couldn't think. And, okay, so that's bad in and of itself. For me, because it's not just like I can go to work. That's my safe haven. No. I can go to school. I can study. No. There are some times when I would, you know, even if I don't have an exam, if I'm just doing homework or I'm just, you know, reading from like a textbook, I have textbook pages to read, I'd read them. And it's like my brain is so messed up that like I'm not processing any of the words on the page. And you just feel it. It almost feels like there's a mass growing in your head because it's sort of, it could be the anxiety taking over after the initial experience of brain fog, but it's still the brain fog that is the instigator. It is the one that's causing the issues. So again, just like social anxiety, you know, at work, at school, in the outside world, it's an issue. Alright, you know, but why does it really bother me so much? Why does it really affect me so much? Simply put, the reason that brain fog bothers me to such a degree is because I almost can have no confidence or faith in my ability to think, to reason, to do work at any given moment of any given day. And there are 2 reasons for that. One is that the brain fog, it doesn't just happen in social situations. It doesn't just happen in the outside world. It happens here when I'm at home. And again, I usually there's no trigger. It's not like I'm eating, you know, crap and it's like, oh, I don't feel so good now. Well, duh. I could just be drinking water, eating healthy, and there are just certain times during the day that I have the brain fog. There's no trigger. And it affects me when I'm alone. So that in and of itself is like, I can't even get away from my issues here at home. The other big thing with the brain fog is that you know, when you're experiencing the fog, like I said, there are no clear indicators that it's happening. It's not like an on and off switch where either you have it or you don't. Or you have it to a certain degree or you don't have it at all. There are varying levels of brain fog or cognitive dysfunction on certain days, on certain moments of certain days. Like right now, I have it a little bit, but it's not too bad. 2 hours from now, I may not be able to think. Tonight, I may be fine. And it's just like, there's no pattern to it. There's no cycle. It's just, it seems to vary from day to day, from hour to hour, from minute to minute. It just seems that there's no pattern and there's no way of even knowing, you know, that you're experiencing it. Obviously, you know, in episodes like when I was at work, when I was really struggling with the brain fog, I would know because I'd be messing up and I wouldn't be like myself. But unlike, let's say you have like a cold or a flu, and you're like wondering, am I over the flu? You know, am I over the cold? And you wake up next morning, you got stomach pains and you're sneezing, coughing. Clear symptoms that you can feel, that you can experience and say, okay, I have it. Brain fog, there isn't just like a sensation of pain or you know, some sort of response by your body that says like, okay, I have the brain now, well, I'm gonna have to deal with it. Sometimes it's just like you're living day-to-day life and I don't know whether I can feel confident in myself. In fact, I can never feel confident in myself because I just don't know, like, if I'm going to be able to think clearly, if I'm going to be able to work clearly at any given moment. Now, yes, there are some times when I'll know, okay, I feel good, but it's like, for the majority of the time, you just don't know how you're going to act or feel. And that's really scary to me because, like, how am I supposed to move forward? If you're saying, let's say I want to deal with the social anxiety and hang out with my friends and party and do stuff like that, if I'm experiencing this brain fog and I don't know what the triggers are, I don't know why it's happening, and I'm going out there and I'm experiencing it and I can't stop it, how the hell am I supposed to move forward when this thing is still holding me back? You know? And again, I just hate it when people, as I'm sure many of you do, when people try to make everything a matter of perspective. Oh, you're just not seeing things correctly. You're just not thinking correctly. You know, it's not like I'm sitting here and saying, I'm fat, and then it's like, how much do you weigh? 140. Well, I actually weigh 150. But it's not like, oh, you're just thinking incorrectly. It's just like the social anxiety, for some of us, it's just the way it is. You can't reason it away. You can't explain it. People always want to explain things. People always want to sort of have solutions, even if they're completely the wrong ones. And just sometimes there isn't. Sometimes things don't make sense. And you know, I guess I know a big reason why people hate medications is just sometimes doctors will be like, here, take this. We can't explain it, so let's give you pills. Let's not try to, you know, really get at the heart of the issue. Let's just give you pills. See if that works. So again, I was going to take this into this whole jealousy thing, but then this would be like a 30-minute video, and I'm not doing that to you guys. Unless, you know, if you want to maybe make an hour-long video, I can do it. You let me know in the comments. I'll do it. But, so I'm going to make another video talking about that. But again, that's why, for me, the brain fog is so debilitating. And just not being able to think, just think about that. Like, I can't even trust in my own thoughts, in my own thought process. Because I just don't know if it's working, if it even makes sense. I can just have no faith in myself. And again, it's not just those moments where I'm having fog. It's like sometimes I don't know if I'm having it. I just wake up, am I good, am I bad? And it drives me nuts. It really drives me nuts. And again, if let's say, I think I've probably mentioned this to my therapist before, and if she would say, okay, well, you know what, when you were having these episodes or when you weren't feeling so well, don't be hard on yourself. Don't get too emotional or hurt by the fact that you're experiencing it. Okay. Sounds plausible. Not really. Because, I mean, if I'm constantly experiencing this brain fog and I can't act like I want to act. I can't think like I want to act. How? I mean, I can't be the person that I want to be. And again, it's not just a matter of confidence. It's just sometimes it is the way it is. But I mean, again, it's not these isolated incidents where it's like, okay, let's just, I'm not so good right now. I'm gonna not worry about it too much. I'm gonna be calm. You know what? It is what it is. This is like constantly affecting me through every minute of every day. It's always there. It's always like watching me. It's always present. And I've actually, I know that, I haven't mentioned this in my videos, but right now I'm taking, I know I've mentioned that I have sleep apnea, but I'm actually, over the last couple of weeks, I started taking using one of those nasal masks to help treat it. And that's one of the things they said could give you that sort of brain fog, memory concentration, all those issues could be related from the sleep apnea. So I'm hoping that will fix things. Because, honestly, without curing this first, and I've always felt like this, I can't cure anything else. I can't stop the social anxiety. I can't get my life back together unless I conquer this brain fog. I can't make progress. And at the same time, the issue with brain fog is that sometimes, like, I can't even think to make that progress. I can't. Sometimes when I'm making these videos, I can't even think of ideas of what to do next. And again, I know I do put too much pressure on myself. I know that's an issue for me. I know that it's something I'm always going to have to deal with, and I'm fine with that. I understand part of it. Sometimes I do let myself become too anxious or too angry or frustrated at myself when I can't do certain things. But there's only so much, I can take personally. When I can't even, like, process a customer's order at CVS. How am I supposed to feel about myself? How am I supposed to feel about my prospects about things getting better and making changes in my life and sort of getting over these diseases? I can't, because it's still affecting me and it's holding me back. So, again, this is just setting the table so I guess some of you understand, if I do reference brain fog in the future, exactly why it may be impacting a certain issue or why it affects me a certain way. At least now you sort of have understanding about that. And again, for those of you that especially are experiencing these types of issues, I'm sorry that you are. And like it's really no worse feeling in the world, especially when you combine this with social anxiety. It's just like, I was sitting here, and I'll end the video with this because we're approaching 18 minutes. But I was sitting here, I had, see, I'm not sure, I mentioned going to the movies. I think that's one of the, I also mentioned it in the videos I haven't uploaded yet, but I also think I mentioned it in the video I did upload. Anyway, I went to the movies, me and my friends got Applebee's, we had a decent time, I got to see them. I sort of came back happy, even though I knew it was like fake happiness. It's sort of like, why can't I be like them? Why can't I do what they do? And so, yesterday I was sitting really angry with myself, like, I've been wasting so much time. I've been a fool. And again, even though I knew, like, I've been through this before, that this is a disease and it's not my fault, it was just sort of like all that emotion came pouring out. And now here I am again today, sort of talking about this, and like, depressed as hell, because I kind of had like really bad brain fog earlier today. I just couldn't think. I wanted to post, I had to wait to post the video now until I felt better. Earlier I was like a vegetable. And it was just like, in the back of your mind, that when you have these issues, things are going to be a roller coaster. That you can like never really trust what you're feeling at any one moment, or that you're just going to be up and down like a seesaw. And I know those things, but it's just, it never ceases to amaze me like how quickly your perspective of things can change. Like yesterday I was like, it's not, I don't want to say I didn't say things were not that bad, but I was like, I should have been doing more. I can beat this. I just got to go out there and try. And now today it's like, yeah, right. And again, really, that's what like a taste of hope does. When you have that taste of hope, it's just like you think anything's possible, and then it wears off, and then nothing's possible. Anyway, that is probably the longest video I'm going to make. I hope 20 minutes. I know, I'm sorry. But again, I just really wanted to get that off my chest because the brain fog really like drives me crazy every minute of my life. I'm actually going to be seeing my therapist soon. I'll probably continue this rant there. And okay, so I guess I'll just pose the question to you guys instead of always giving you a random fact about me. Do any of you guys deal with these types of symptoms? Is it just the social anxiety for you? Do you experience these cognitive issues in the same ways as me or in different ways? Let me know. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing and all the feedback you've given me so far. And yeah, thanks.